Hi, I'm Matt Crawley, Development Manager for North Coast and North West New South Wales. Today I'm here to talk to you about volunteer retention. Volunteers are the backbone of AFL community clubs. The success and sustainability of AFL community clubs is strongly linked to the successful recruitment, management and retention of volunteers. This video will give you a quick introduction to retaining volunteers at your club. The first thing a club should do before considering how to retain volunteers is appoint a volunteer coordinator. This person will be responsible for attracting and recruiting new volunteers, developing clear job descriptions, ensuring the right person is found for each role, identifying ways of training volunteers if they do not have the required skills for the role, identifying methods of recognising volunteers, revising volunteer duties as needed. Appointing a volunteer coordinator will mean volunteer retention won't fall to the club president or other busy committee members. The key to volunteer retention is to ensure the volunteers have a positive experience. The first thing to consider is developing a roster. A roster will help volunteers know when they are required and for how long. This will ensure each role is filled and all duties will be suitably covered without asking too much of one volunteer. A roster can be built using an Excel spreadsheet or using free online tools. TidyHQ is also a useful club administration tool that can help in this area. Consider using social media to pass messages and reminders about your rostering. Succession planning is a critical element of any well-run club. The stress felt by volunteers will be minimised when there are processes in place to assist with succession planning. Most clubs have people in large roles for years, but once they leave, the next person can struggle to fill their shoes due to minimal information sharing and documentation. A good succession plan includes your club's business plan, position descriptions, work instructions and checklists, policies and procedures. While the initial setup may be time-consuming, the long-term effect will ensure sustainability. A cloud database is a great place to store such documents. Communication is key. While you should not spam your volunteers with constant communication, it is important to check in on your volunteers and share information about their roles and club happenings. Remember to keep your communication clear and purposeful. Depending on the number of volunteers and the type of roles they fill, consider developing tailored communication plans for volunteers. There are many tools for communications including meetings, social media, e-newsletters, emails and text messaging, and face-to-face conversation. Most volunteers don't do it for the recognition. However, never underestimate the power of a thank you. Recognising the efforts of volunteers plays an important part in volunteer retention and can be done in various ways, including volunteer profiles on social media, club website or e-newsletter, thank you email, personalised letters from the club president, certificates presented on award nights, social outings and gatherings, recognising long service with life memberships, participation in the AFL Volunteer of the Year program, nominate volunteers for local awards, providing identification badges, shirts, hats, etc. AFL New South Wales ACT surveyed over 400 community football volunteers at the end of the 2018 season. One of the questions asked was, what would make volunteering for your club or league more appealing? The top 5 responses were more people to share the load, better communication, more recognition like volunteer profiles on social media, website and other communications, incentives like reduced rego fees or a volunteer raffle where a ticket gets put in every week you help out. Nothing. I do it for the love of the game and the club. More positive, over 90% of volunteers said they are likely to volunteer again next season. While it can be hard to find volunteers, it is important to evaluate volunteer performance and manage underperformance. A bad volunteer could be creating a cancerous culture for the club and deter others from volunteering. However, volunteers do have the same rights as employees, which need to be considered when dealing with volunteer performance management and dismissal. Volunteering Australia has developed the national standards for volunteer involvement, which provides a best practice in volunteer management and will help manage the risk and safety of volunteers. Please visit the Volunteering Australia website for more information. For more information, check out the Club Guide to Volunteer Management. Remember folks, it's easier to retain good volunteers by recognising and communicating well with them rather than having to continuously recruit new people.